I think that there is no single voice for IFP, and what we see, what we have heard over the last few days is exactly a demonstration that what we have been able to do, working together, thinking collectively, and constantly amplifying the people who belong to this circle of like-minded individuals who'd like to see the world be a better place, indicates to me that my responsibility to kind of take away lessons from an event like this for the program is really done on behalf of all of you, and I hope that my thoughts reflect what we have heard here. I first wanted to, before I say a few words about the lessons that I will try to take away on behalf of the program, and therefore on behalf of all the fellows and the candidates and those who have not yet been selected, is I wanted to share with you just a little story from another part of the world that has not been represented here, but as you all know, I live and work and travel frequently to Latin America, and we have 700 IFP fellows from that part of the world. They're not represented here, most of them don't speak English, but I wanted to share with you just a little story of a leader whom we met in a recent trip to Mexico, a place called Oaxaca, which is in the south-central part of Mexico, in a very poor area materially, but an extraordinarily rich area from a cultural and spiritual point of view. And about 2 years ago, we had a meeting similar to this of about 60 or so of our fellows from Latin America, plus a good contingent of our African colleagues from Mozambique, who, as Portuguese speakers, could relate to the others. And we had the great privilege of meeting with a humble teacher, someone very similar to Dr. Ari, but from a different part of the world. His name is Maestro. Maestro means teacher in Spanish, so as a term of honor, people call him Maestro Mesinas. And he delivered a number of inspired talks to our group, just as we have heard here. He shared his vision for a more just and democratic society, and the values that he expressed were so similar to the ones that we have heard here. He talked about participation, he talked about solidarity, he talked about the need for ethical values that enable people to see a harmonious relationship with nature, not just land for the purposes of labor and exploitation, but to create a harmonious relationship with nature and the environment. And most of all, and this was a message that resonated so strongly with our fellows, talked about the need for people to take control over their own development and to be able to maintain their language, their culture, their traditions, and their identity, even as they saw to the practical issues around them, how to improve livelihoods, how to generate income, how to empower people and make sure that they themselves could take control. This is a message we've heard over these past 2 days. Certainly it's a message that we all are struggling with all the time to figure out good responses. And what was particularly dramatic about this message in this part of the world was, we went to visit the community where this teacher was from, and of course it was wonderful. We were greeted with a band of school children and lots of fanfare, and we were actually the first tourists in this very, very remote village, 1,500 meters up in the Oaxacan mountains, because as part of their own vision for generating income and resources for their community, they thought, well, why should all the tourist business go to big hotels in Acapulco? Maybe we can attract people here to see our way of life. And so we came as the first group, and we stayed in these beautiful, very, very simple but beautiful accommodations looking out at this fantastic landscape. And we saw what this group of perhaps a dozen or so indigenous communities in a part of Mexico where you don't find typically able-bodied males between the age of about 15 and 75 because they've all emigrated to the United States. And so they had to be able to turn around what others would have seen as